People talk about war, we consider its cost. Every day of this war, Russia spends from $900 million to $1.1 billion. This is how CIPRI and International Monetary Fund analysts estimate direct and indirect military expenditures, compiling data on budget, equipment losses, personnel payments, and logistics. This is more than the annual healthcare budget of an entire Russian region. And these funds are not paid by abstract state structures. They are paid by the economy, every day, without weekends. When they began talking about a mobilization economy in 2022, it was presented as a transition to efficiency mode. Factories work around the clock, orders grow, salaries in defense increase. But behind this picture lies simple arithmetic. If in 2021 Russia spent about $65 billion on defense, by 2024 the aggregate expenditures on defense, security, and the security bloc exceed $110 billion per year. This is almost every third ruble of the federal budget. They said this will not affect social spending. They got a slowdown in the growth of education and healthcare spending to levels below inflation, which effectively means cuts. According to the Higher School of Economics, real regional spending on infrastructure development has decreased by an average of 12% to 15% since 2022. A mobilization economy always begins with redistribution. Money doesn't disappear, it changes direction. But redistribution has a limit, because every ruble that went to war does not create new value. It does not return in the form of technologies, productivity, or exports. It disappears. The second payment, human. According to estimates by Rostad and independent demographers, from 2022 to 2024, Russia lost from 700,000 to 1 million people of working age due to mobilization, emigration, and demographic collapse. The World Bank directly states the loss of 1% of human capital reduces potential GDP growth for years ahead. In Russia's case, we're not talking about percentages, but about entire generations. Each mobilized person is not only a soldier, it's uncollected taxes, uncreated jobs, unopened businesses. The economy can compensate for this with money, but it cannot compensate for this with time. The third payment, business, especially small and medium. According to RSPP and the Center for Macroeconomic Analysis, investments in fixed capital in non-resource sectors have decreased by 20–25% since 2022. Formally, companies continue to operate. In reality, they stop expanding. And an economy without investments is an economy without a future. They said business will adapt. They got business that survives but doesn't grow. The fourth payment, inflation. Even official data from the Central Bank of Russia shows sustained price growth above the target 4%. Real inflation for food products and basic services in 2022–2024 fluctuated in the range of 10–15% annually. This is a hidden tax that hits hardest those who have no savings. Pensioners, budget workers, families with fixed incomes pay for the war every time they pay utilities or buy food. The fifth payment, technological. More than 1,000 foreign companies left the Russian market or suspended operations. This is not storefronts. This is licenses, service, updates, supply chains. According to UNCTAD estimates, countries under sanctions and in a state of conflict lose up to 30% of potential productivity during the first 5 years. These losses are not visible immediately. They accumulate. And here the main paradox appears. The longer the war lasts, the more industries begin to depend on it. The military-industrial complex, logistics, related industries receive orders. According to the Ministry of Finance, in certain regions, up to 40% of industrial growth in 2023 was provided by military orders. This creates an illusion of revival, but simultaneously forms a trap. Because the end of the war means a sharp drop in orders, rising unemployment, and social issues that no one is prepared for. Rand Corporation research shows, in economies of protracted conflicts, the cost of exit is almost always higher than the cost of continuation in the short term. This is precisely why the system continues the war, not because it's profitable, but because stopping is too painful. A mobilization economy can maintain the appearance of stability for 3–5 years. Historical examples, the USSR of the late 80s, Iran, Iraq, show the same thing. First capacity growth, then stagnation, then where? Money still exists, production still works, but development has stopped, and stopping in the modern world is a form of defeat. By 2025, Russia faces not a collapse, but fixation in a low-growth corridor. The International Monetary Fund estimates the potential economic growth at 1% or lower, a level at which the country effectively does not catch up with the world, but falls behind it with each passing year. And here it becomes clear who really pays for the war. Not only the budget, regions pay, business pays, families pay, demographics pay, the future pays, not with slogans, but with numbers. A mobilization economy doesn't explode. It wears out, slowly, methodically, and almost always irreversibly. This was the third episode of the format The Cost of War, and further, we will count even harder, because war always ends, but the bill for it, never.